Hello, friends. I hope you've had a Merry Krampus Christmas season, and I hope you're having a happy High New Year. And welcome back to another episode of The Good, the Bad, and the Bible. And today we are on the second to last portion of what we're going to be going through in the book of Numbers. And so to kick off this new year, right? I brought out the real deal. Since we haven't had any glass in a while. And may your new year be way better than the first year. I know my year was very rough last year, and hopefully this year will be better. I feel like it will be better, at least for myself anyways. Can't say about the rest of the world. But it is going to be a good year for a lot of people, so take some comfort in that, because there's ups and downs in every year. And fortunately, despite my year last year started out pretty terrible, to be honest. But it taught me some very important life lessons, and it managed to end pretty well, all things considered. So, here we are, in 2024, about to get to this heavy-hitting Bible story that you will probably never hear preached in a pulpit, because this is literally one of the darkest stories in the entire Bible. And now that I have filled this chamber up with smoke, with the last of the bowl, we are officially ready to dive into this. Because let's be real, with as dark of shit as the Bible likes to get into, it's good to have some happy-feely drugs to go with it. All the better if they're completely natural. Maybe sometime I will do an episode while I'm on shrooms. So today we are in chapter 31. And you remember the people called the Midianites that we talked about way back here and there? I'll give you some reminders. Well, a reminder, a very special reminder. Because you see, Moses and the Israelites have been kind of dancing around with the Midianites lately. If you remember in the last few episodes, they've been mentioned multiple times, but Israel has yet to directly engage with them. They've been directly commanded by God. The Israelites have been directly commanded by God to wipe out the Midianites. And now we are finally getting to it. In fact, that was literally the last thing we were talking about a couple episodes ago. Because the last one was about the sacrifices and all that crazy shit. And the one right before that, yeah. I believe it was chapter 25. Yes, it was. Yes, it was. But where we really interacted with the Midianites Now, these are also the people who remember the story of Balaam and the king that had Balaam come over and try and curse the Israelites, even though that story probably never happened with the talking donkey and all that. Probably some Israeli propaganda. Well, yeah, we're with that nation. This is also the same nation where a couple chapters back, well, a little more than a couple, it's in chapter 25, where one of the princes of the Israelites brings a Midianite woman in with him to the camp of the Israelites and sleeps with her, and then gets murdered over it. And then at the very end of the story, we find out, oh, it was actually a very important woman that he was with. It wasn't just any woman that he was taking to bed. It was the daughter of a chieftain in Midian. And he got murdered through the back. They made it all about them being Midianites, but of course, I think there was an alliance trying to be formed. Maybe not secretly. I don't think it was secretly. I think they were trying to doing it publicly, because he brought in the Midianite woman in front of everyone. So I think the issue, there was like a division probably in Israel of people who wanted to make peace with the nations, wanted to try and get along, or at least make some allies, but the Israelites, well, the God of the Israelites was saying, no, we're not having friends, we're not getting along with people, we're killing them all. And he's been telling them to kill them all, and I think they've fought one or two other people in the process here. Okay, maybe not, no, God's just been telling them, you gotta go kill the Midianites. Well, we're finally, in this chapter, gonna see what happens to the Midianites. So here we are in chapter 31. And Moses comes out to the people of Israel and he tells them, arm yourselves, arm some of yourselves unto war, and let them go against the Midianites and avenge the Lord of Midian. I just wanted to say that is some very interesting wording. Avenge the Lord of Midianites. Because God it's avenging God, even though nothing wasn't really done against God. The Midianites didn't do anything against God. They were just hanging out with the Israelites. What was the crime of the Midianites? Inviting the Israelites to hang out with them at their religious holidays, to join them in their feasts, to intermarry, to be chill, to be cool, to get along. That was the crime. But no, we got to go kill these peace-loving Midianite hippies. Okay, maybe they weren't peace-loving, but maybe they weren't hippies, but they were obviously trying to be nice. I feel like they were trying to be nice to the Israelites. I mean, they kind of had a reputation with how they were treating other people and escaping Israel and all that. Some may have considered them refugees, some may have considered them dangerous warriors, but either way, the Midianites felt like, hey, let's be nice to them. Maybe they won't kill us, or maybe they need help, and maybe they'll become stronger, maybe they'll make good allies or something. Midian was not attacking them. They had never attacked them yet. That's the important thing to remember here. Midian never attacked Israel before this point. But God says, hey, avenge me, because I have lost souls in the religion competition. I can't handle people worshiping me and being cool with other gods in existence. I can't. I need all the attention. Moses, get these soldiers together and avenge my ego. That's pretty much what's happening here. That is the only thing that is being avenged of God, is his jealousy and his ego. Sad but true. And so they warred against the Midianites. Verse 7. And they slew all the males. Quote unquote, all the males. That's kind of a big deal. The quote unquote. Well, we'll see why in a minute. But it was actually a pretty... I'm guessing it was a big battle. Because there were 5 kings involved with this shit. I don't know how... Which is honestly pretty wild if you think about it. Israel decides to take on these 5 kings all at once. I mean, maybe they were tiny. Maybe they were tiny portions built up. I don't know. Maybe they were very... I don't know. Maybe it wasn't a big battle after all. I don't know. But there were 5 kings involved. They were all the men of Midian died, apparently. But for some reason, this says males. And then going on, verse 9, it says, the children of Israel took all the women of Midian captives and their little ones, and took the spoil of all their cattle and all their flocks and all their goods. And they burnt all their cities wherein they dwelt, where they lived, and all their goodly castles with fire. And they took all the spoil and all the prey, both of men and of beasts. And they brought the captives and the prey and the spoil unto Moses and Eleazar the priest, and unto the congregation of the children of Israel unto the camp, at the plains of Moab, which are by Jordan near Jericho. So, apparently Israel kicked ass in this battle and pushed forward and literally wiped out all of Midian. Well, their cities and everything. They kept all the women and children alive. So, apparently not all the males were dead, just the men. Women and children were still alive. And Moses, so what did they do with all this stuff? Obviously, they're going to split it up, right? Yeah, and they do. They do. But we ain't done. We ain't getting to that part yet. There's a little more bloodshed that needs to be shed. And Moses, verse 14, was angry with the officers of the armies of the captains. Why was he angry? Verse 15. And Moses said unto them, have ye saved all the women alive? Moses then says, behold, these, the women, he says, caused the children of Israel through the counsel of Balaam, with the talking donkey, to commit trespass against the Lord in the matter of Peor. And there was a plague among the children of Israel. Among the congregation of the Lord. That's how it's said. So he's literally blaming the women of Midian for possibly sexually transmitted disease. But the thing is, it's clearly not of the entire nation. It really doesn't really give any frickin' details. And in regards to the matter of Peor, that's just a different god. That's in regards to just celebrating the other people's holidays. It doesn't, God makes it, well, the way the Bible lays it out here, it makes it sound like there were some straight up conversions, or like there were people worshiping both gods. And you know what? That is actually a very popular viewpoint, being chill with other gods. That was something, it's something huge in paganism, and was very popular amongst a lot of religions back in those days. It was also kind of popular during the Greek times. It's just like, it's not everywhere all at once, but it's very consistent throughout history that for the majority of the time, most religions automatically respect other religions. Like, they kind of see them as like, oh, yeah, we're okay. We essentially worship the same thing. It's just a different version. That's all. And then people with these other more colonizing type of religions said, oh, no, that's not okay. They had to make it about religion. They had to make a fight out of it. But I got a little sidetracked there on the matter of Peor. Because Moses is like, he's basically saying the women. It's all about the women. The women were the main problem. So why are we keeping them alive? So what does he say? Verse 17. Now therefore, kill every male. I did not misquote. That is how the verse starts. Now therefore, verse 17, Numbers 31. Now therefore, kill every male among the little ones, and kill every woman that hath known man by lying with him. Basically, verse 18, but all the women children that have not known a man by lying with them, keep alive for yourselves. You see what just happened there, right? You see what God, the God of the Israelites, just commanded. For the sin of being friendly and inviting foreigners to participate in their religious holidays, the punishment was genocide. Literally genocide. I mean, God spells it out. It's like, hey, you don't have to kill 100% of everyone, just all the men, all the male children, all the women who have ever had sex with anyone. Keep the virgins for yourselves. That is Yahweh's idea of justice for insulting his jealousy, his ego. And it goes on. What did they do with those people? Oh, well, I mean, it was obvious. They didn't have to spell everything out. But believe it or not, they did not even all go to the people of Israel. They even said how many people they got. Verse 35, 32,000 people. It's interesting how it describes them too. It doesn't call them kids or a mixture. It just says, and 32,000 persons in all, of women that had not known man by lying with them. It's fucked up. Yeah, and a portion of them apparently go to God. Literally 32 of them. Verse 40. They're talking about dividing things up between people, and it says, of which the Lord's tribute was 32 persons. Yahweh got 32 virgins from this battle. I don't know what he did with them. I don't know if they stayed virgins. I don't know if they served around the tabernacle or just served around the Levites' homes. But some of them did go to the Levites. That was definitely spelled out in verse 47. It says, Moses took one portion, both of man and of beast, and gave them unto the Levites. I don't know why it says man and beast, because I feel like that wouldn't, maybe there were slaves that the Midianites owned and they were taken as well. Although I didn't really see that mentioned here, but then again, obviously the Israelites are kind of insensitive about how they talk about other people that aren't theirs or that don't worship their God the way they do. And that is the end of that story. Then the Israelites go off to do more conquering and bloodshed. And we'll get some more into that in the next episode. But yeah, that is the... I won't say it's the darkest, but it is definitely one of the darkest. I mean, I got it. How can it not get that much darker? It doesn't get much darker, but believe it or not, the Bible actually does get darker in other places outside of the Torah. The way certain things are mentioned and laid out. It's certain prophecies and things, the way things are mentioned and what are... Yeah, there's mentioning of cannibalism and more explicit detail of how little ones are killed. It's really fucked up. Like, it really does not make the Bible very digestible. You know, a lot of people do. People think that it's perfectly fine the way God handled the people of Israel, because most people don't know about that story in the book of Numbers. But now you do. And, I'm not sharing this. I want to make it clear because it's getting more and more relevant these days to clarify these things. I'm not trying to make the people of modern-day Israel look bad or anything. I am all for peace. I want people to get along. I think it's really, really ridiculous that people are fighting over the things that they do. But religion has a really huge part to play in this, both on the peaceful side and on the warring side. And the thing is, all major mainstream religions have both a peaceful side and a zealous, aggressive side that likes to get violent. Christianity has it. Catholicism has it. Catholicism practically started it. Islam has it, unfortunately. And uh, I don't know what it's freaking called. Uh, Judaism, Judaism. They're largely peaceful. The average everyday person, just like the average everyday Catholic, average everyday Muslim, average everyday Christian, are all peaceful. They don't want war. They don't want bloodshed. They don't want all this crap happening. But there's always a select few. And there's always a dark part in every religion's history, just like in every country's history. Even Buddhism has a dark side in its history. It's got humans in it. Humans are in every religion, and humans screw everything up. So you're going to have some crazy shit in the history of every religion, whether you want to face the facts and accept it or not. And you can't ignore it. You really can't ignore it. Especially when those violent tendencies persist. And if, I think if people really took a second look at their beliefs and where they came from, I'm not saying people should give up their religions. I'm not saying people should stop being, Muslim, Christian, Catholic, Jewish, or whatever. You can keep your religion. It's great. It's fine. As long as you're not shoving it down other people's throats. As long as you're not being violent about it. But you also need to keep your mind open and do the research on your own religion, because it's not pretty. You need to know what you believe and the crap that your beliefs have been through and how it was formed and the bloodshed that was involved. Do you really want to be affiliated with that? Do you really want to carry that on? I have a whole different perspective of what Christianity means now. My personal definition of what a Christian is based on the original aspect and nothing to do with, some of it obviously is connected and related, but it's not the same. I don't believe being a Christian means asking Jesus to save you. I really don't. I think it's something completely different. I think anyone can be a Christian without having to join the religion or go to church. I think Christianity is far more pagan, in fact. And honestly, it's what it all boils down to, is just being a good person. That's what every religion is supposed to be trying to help people do. But when you make it about violence or about shoving your way down someone else's throat, you deviate. The more you divide, the more you say, no, we're not going to get along, my way or the highway. The more you do that, the more you deviate from the ultimate truth, the ultimate reality of what God is. Because this story of genocide is not love. It's not justice. It's not unity. It's not peace. It's not God. It's not God. I don't believe God commanded that to happen. I don't believe God would command genocide. The thing that connects us all, the thing that we're all supposed to be trying to aspire to be like and be better individually, and the thing that resides within all of us, the good in all of us, No, it would never command such a thing. That action was an act of jealousy. It was an act of control, an act of manipulation. It was the highest level of danger a cult can get. Most cults today will not kill someone for leaving them. They kick them out. If they have family in the cult, they cut them off completely. They act like they're dead. But most cults will not go out of their way to murder you for leaving. Or just for going and celebrating a spiritual holiday with the neighbors. Their spiritual holiday. Just, being friendly. Because according to Yahweh, being friendly with your neighbor is worthy of genocide. And people act like it's such a great book, such a great God. Yay! I hope you've enjoyed this episode, and I hope the rest of this year will be as awakening for you as hopefully this episode has been, about just how dark the Bible can get. Stay safe, and until next time, my friends, farewell.